So for a couple years on this channel, I've done a series of video reviews on a modern toy line called the Grossery Gang, or previously known as the Trash Pack, but they are both essentially the exact same toy line from the folks over at Moose Toys. The reason I love this toy line so much is because it really reminds me of some of the old, weird, wacky, gross out fun toys that I used to get as a kid back in the 1980s and early 1990s. In modern times, when you walk into a toy store, most of the toys we see in the toy aisles are all licensed properties these days, and don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with that. But there's something so refreshing and so very cool about seeing a line like the Grossery Gang, because it's original, it's unique, and like I said, it is full of nostalgic goodness. I've been loving the minifigures that have been coming out in that particular line, but I am really excited for the next step in the Grossery Gang lineup. You see, I first saw these revealed back at Toy Fair this year, and now that they are hitting store shelves, I am so excited to be checking out the first ever Grossery Gang action figures in the Putrid Power toy line. Now, one of the things that draws me to these new figures is they remind me specifically of one of my all-time favorite oddball toy lines from the 1980s, being the Food Fighters that were released by Mattel. So, are the Putrid Power Grossery Gang action figures essentially the second coming of the Food Fighters? Well, let's check out this entire new lineup and find out. So here we are, the Grossery Gang Putrid Power action figures. So the first assortment that is in stores right now gives us 5 figures that are on the good guy side and 1 figure that is on the bad guy side. And I love this, by the way. The bad guys in the line are the cleaning stuff. So all the good guys are basically like food items or gross stuff, and all the good guys are the things that clean them up. For example, this is Vac Attack. He's like a vacuum cleaner bad guy, and he's all shiny and he's clean. That is hilarious. You can see down on the bottom it even says the Grossery Gang versus the Clean Team. So the Clean Team acts as the villains in this line. So along with Vac Attack, in this particular series, we also have Putrid Pizza, which is our pizza-headed guy. We've got Grub Sub, who is our sub sandwich. We've got Dodgy Donuts. We've got Trash Head. And we've got Gooey Chewy, who's like a bubblegum character, which is absolutely hilarious. And you can see great packages, fully showcases the figures, and every single one of them includes an exclusive Grossery Gang minifigure, which are the same little minifigures that you got in the actual packs. So these are your standard minifigures, basically of the same characters, and then these are the powered up versions of those characters, which are our action figures. When you flip those around to the back side, look at this. We've even got this beautiful cross-sell down here, and we've got basically little bios for these characters, again, giving these a very, very retro feel. I also love how all these guys have aliases, like Trash Head's alias is Clanky, Grub Sub's is Meathead. Some of these names are a little strange. Putrid Pizza's alias is Pizza Face. And then one of the weirdest ones, Dodgy Donuts' alias is Rocky. I find those aliases a little weird. I actually like the regular names better, but there is a Grossery Gang Putrid Power movie. It's like an animated movie that's on YouTube. It's official. That's where those nicknames come from. So if you got kids, the kids might dig that. I know my son loves it. It's actually kind of a fun little cartoon. But if you look at the cross-sell here, you can see some of the other figures that are going to be coming, like Blowfly. He looks like the first really like non-food item, I guess aside from the trash can, but we got Blowfly there. But there's also Squished Banana, which looks amazing, and then Fungus Fries, which I can already tell is going to be my favorite one in the batch. I cannot wait for those to come out in stores. But for the time being, this is what we've got. Packages are great, but let's open these up and get a closer look at the action figures. Alright, we have got our Grossery Gang Putrid Power action figures outside of their boxes, and oh my gosh, you guys, I absolutely adore these. Just Look at how wacky and bright and colorful and weird these are. Seriously, these harken back to something amazing from the past. Let me bring in a tape measure here. You can see these are actually very small action figures, all of them standing just under the 4-inch mark. So maybe about 3 3/4 inches, but just under 4 inches there. Vac Attack is probably about the tallest one, with the vacuum pieces on the back actually coming up to about exactly the 4-inch mark. But these are just wonderfully done little action figures. And like I said, very colorful, bright and vibrant. You can see they are wonderfully painted. And the figures feel great. Like, the quality on these is really, really nice. So let's look at the action figures themselves here. Like I said, the quality is great on these guys. They do feature some minimal articulation, but just enough articulation for exactly what you would want here. The heads basically can swivel on the figures that actually have heads. Then the arms move up and down, but also outwards. I mean, these are basically ball joints at the shoulders there, which are very nice. And then the same thing's going on at the thighs. The figures all balance nicely. In fact, the only one I really have balance issues with is Vac Attack. He's a little bit heavy, a little top heavy. So you can see sometimes I have issues getting him standing, but basically you just got to even him out, and he stands really, really nicely. Some of the figures, of course, with their shapes, they don't actually have heads. So, you know, like Dodgy Donut there, his whole body is basically his face, but the articulation is still the same on the shoulders there. Nice ball joints, no wrist swivels or anything like that, but still, these are just really, really cool figures. And I love all of the great little details on these. For example, if you look here really close at Dodgy Donut here, he's got like little bugs crawling all over him, like little maggots or something. It's disgusting, but I love it. But I also love how his arms are basically like all these different frosted spots with the sprinkles on there. It's just a really, really fun touch. All of these guys do also include their own weapons. So, Dodgy Donut here has a pair of nunchucks. Looks like they're probably made of some sort of food item here, but really fun. You know, Pizza Face here, he's got himself a pizza server, you know, so we can scoop out the pizza. But I love it because, again, he's got little details on there, all unpainted. It's just like this all metallic silver, but it looks like there's like little bugs crawling on there, and I don't know if this like is a tomato or something sitting on there. I don't know. But then I love Grub Sub's weapon, because he's basically got, well, it looks like a mustard bottle because it's yellow, but it's squirting ketchup out of it. But I just love that, because it's even like the way it positions in his hand there, it looks like it's being squeezed. So it works perfect with the sculpt of his hand, and it looks like he's squeezing the ketchup out of it. Our gum guy, who is, I love this. I love that he just basically looks like a pile of stretched gum, but he comes with a little slingshot there, which is a really nice accessory. And then our trash can here, he comes with a fishbone, which, right, that seems appropriate for a trash can character. There's a little nub on the bottom that actually plugs right into his hand. It fits him perfectly there, which is very, very cool. And, oh, I'm knocking them all down now. And then Vac Attack here, he doesn't have any actual extra accessories, but, you know, his hand actually looks like a dust buster, which is great. And then he does have the little vacuum attached to his back. These are slightly pliable there, but he's also made of this really great metallic red plastic, which is just very, very cool looking. And as I mentioned when we were looking at these guys inside the boxes, they do all come with little Grossery Gang versions of themselves as well. If you've never bought any of the Grossery Gang minifigures before, these are all made of a very soft, squishy material. They do have little holes in the bottom of them there, but they're very, very fun. The only one that is not made of that softer material is the Vac Attack guy over here, the Clean Team, because all the Clean Team characters in the regular Grossery Gang minifigure lineup are actually made of this hard plastic that has this really cool metallic paint job that matches the larger figures. So it's pretty cool that you get the little versions of them as well that come with these. They're exclusive. That's also going to be great for anybody who's been collecting the Grossery Gang minifigures, because it gives you an extra little piece that comes with these guys. And here's something else fun. While playing around with these, this isn't actually advertised on the box as a feature, but it's worth noting that our guys who have heads here like Grub Sub and Pizza Face or Putrid Pizza, look at that, the heads pop right off the ball joints, so you can actually remove the pizza piece, which actually makes it look like a giant version of the Grossery Gang minifigure. And this is kind of fun, you can actually pop the Grossery Gang guys on the bodies. How funny is that? So look at that, we can do that with Putrid Pizza. We can even do the same thing with Grubsub here. And it just looks really funny and basically gives you a completely different look for these figures. So at the very beginning of this video, I talked about one of my all-time favorite toy lines and how the new Putrid Power figures reminded me of the Food Fighters. So let's do a little bit of comparison time. Let's bring in some of those vintage, awesome, very, very fun and wacky Mattel Food Fighters action figures. So let's bring in characters like Major Munch and compare him to Dodgy Donut there. You can see that the figures are actually very, very similar in scale. The new Putrid Power figures are a little bit smaller in scale, but they actually fit in quite well with these. Now, they're stylized a little bit different. The styles are very different between the two, but still, like I said, these really feel like a modern version of the old Food Fighters. Look at that, Brigadier General next to Grubsub, and even got Private Pizza next to Putrid Pizza, or Pizza Face there. I think it's a lot of fun mixing and matching these guys, and seriously, if you are a collector like me, who loves the weird, wacky stuff like the old Food Fighters toy line, I think that you would actually love the Putrid Power Grossery Gang action figures. I already know that kids love this line. I know that my son loves Grossery Gang figures and he's been real excited about these, but this is totally one of those things that I share his excitement because it's really fun seeing really cool original figures that are done in the style that remind me of the stuff I bought as a kid. Repeating myself from the beginning, but now that I've opened these and played with them, I can tell you it is 100% true. These are really fun action figures, and if you're into this sort of thing, I would highly recommend grabbing at least one and checking it out for yourself. So the new Grossery Gang Putrid Power action figures are hitting store shelves right now. They are mostly being found at Toys R Us and Target stores, and they only retail for about $6.99 a piece. So happy hunting, my friends. Hey guys, if you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button, leave me a comment down below, let me know what you think of these figures, and don't forget to subscribe for more toy reviews just like this one. Until next time, my friends.